So yes, thank you everyone for joining me today. My name is Michael Smith. I'm the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada. And yes, I'm back from my palatial estate in Collingwood to kick off Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour, the first of the new year, 2022. So hopefully everybody had a wonderful new year. And yes, what will we be talking about today? Well, let me flip around and we will see, what our beautiful machine is for Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. The machine today is going to be, let me pull back so you can see it all in its glory, is the fabulous, Janome 2212. So I thought, how perfect, given we're in 2022. So how about the 2212? Now this is one of these perfect entry-level basic, you don't really want to pick up sewing as a whole big hobby, or so you think, but maybe you need a machine, you would just want to do some hemming and mending, you want to sew on a button, you want to fix a zipper that's broken, you've got a couple of those little projects around the house where you just need to repair a hem or something like that. Maybe you've got a younger person in your household or in your life, or even perhaps you're going to return to sewing after being away for a number of years, and you don't know, again, how much you're really going to get into sewing. So this 2212 is a great, again, basic and beginner machine, so nothing too fancy. That's got 12 stitches, which are here across the faceplate. It is a mechanical machine, so it has the knobs here, so no push button controls. So, for some people that's very intimidating when it comes to all those push buttons. So here the mechanical machine is that you turn these knobs in order to select any of your stitches, which are right here. So very simple, easy to use. We've got the thread tension dial right here, that again adjustable. If you go to a lower number, that's less tension. If you go high to a higher number, that's increased tension. So it is a 5mm machine, meaning the width in the needle plate here is 5mm. Now, how do I know that? Well, Janome has this wonderful system that by removing our extension table here, and I flip open this little trapdoor, I see, it is a front-loading bobbin. So that means that it is a 5mm machine. All the front-loader machines like this, with the oscillating hook, or the rotor, the oscillating hook is are the 5mm machines, the front loaders here. So then that's how we can tell. Now, as I have our little trapdoor open, then I'll see this is the little knob here to lower your feed dog. So yes, you can do free motion quilting on a machine like this as well. You'll want to lower those feed dogs as well when you sew a button on by machine. So again, lots of versatility with this machine, even though, it's kind of basic and you may think, oh wow, what can I do with that? There's a lot you can do with it. So yeah, free motion quilting included. Now, as I have this extension table removed, sometimes in here, when you get a new machine out of the box and you say, where's my accessories? They're sometimes hidden in this little compartment in your extension table accessory tray here, and that's where these beautiful little goodies down here were in the 2212. So of course things like the seam ripper and the little screwdriver are included, I think, with all Janome machines. A little pack of organ needles to get you started. Now, as you know, especially if you follow Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour, Organ makes Janome needles. So after you use this little sample pack of organ needles, you can get specifically Janome branded needles, for example, again made by Organ, from your fabulous Janome dealer. The Janome blue tip needle, size 11, for example, has a slight ball point, so it's great to use for knit fabrics. And then the red tip, size 14, has a nice sharp point to it and a slightly bigger eye to it. This is the needle I use for 99% of my sewing, is the red tip needle. So very good to have, lots of extras on hand, just in case. Again, you get those from your fabulous Janome dealer. Also included in your machine, some extra Janome J bobbins. Now, these are clearer bobbins. But did you know, that yes, we have beautiful, like pink cherry blossom bobbins. Don't those look beautiful with your machine here? So this is a pack of 25 pink bobbins. Or then we also have, oh yes, the blue bobbins with the butterflies in a case of 25. How about the red bobbins? Aren't those gorgeous? So when a lot of people say, oh, I love these colored bobbins because when they fall on the floor, I can find them more easily. So isn't that great? Now, as you know, in 2021, Janome celebrated 100 years. So now we're actually, now that we're in 2022, we are now 101. But yes, Janome celebrated 100 years in 2021. So we still have these 100th anniversary pink bobbins as well. So you could get them in a pack of 25. It's always great to have extra bobbins on hand. So that's fabulous. And with all of your bobbins too, especially if they don't come in a case, we do have this fabulous Bobbin Saver that you can get again from your Janome dealer. So they will hold all of your bobbins. I think it was 66 bobbins or something like that. A lot of bobbins in there. So that is great. So again, get those all from your Janome dealer to use with any of your magical machines. So also included with our 2212, oh yes, we've got very cool presser feeds. Again, nothing too overwhelming. Now, as always, you can find more information in your instruction book here, so make sure that you read that, and make sure in your instruction manual, regardless of what Janome machine it is, that you go and look through, ooh, there we go, it'll identify what all the parts and pieces are of the machine, and it's also going to tell you everything that's included with your machine as well. So make sure whatever machine that you get, you find your accessory bag wherever it may be stashed and make sure that you have all those parts and pieces in there, and then you can identify what they are. Also included, something I usually forget to mention, a lot of our Janome machines come with a cover. Now this one is just a very simple, soft vinyl cover, but you'll see the edges are bound there. But if you would like something a little more substantial or something a little more jazzy, I often say, how about then you cut up this little vinyl cover and you use this as your pattern in order to make a fabric cover. So you can do that as well. But yes, your presser feet included in the machine. We have this very cool adjustable blind hem foot. It looks very similar to our edge guide foot, which is an optional foot for Janome machines, but this is the adjustable blind hem foot, which I have demoed on previous Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tours, but I'm going to show you how to use this foot in another way today. So again, lots of versatility. Even though this machine may come across as, kind of basic, again, you still have lots of versatility with it. Also included is the zipper foot. Now I've demonstrated the E zipper foot in Janome's Janome's A to Z with Janome. Oh, there's so many Instagram live presentations that I've done. I have on the Janome HQ YouTube channel the A to Z with Janome series, and that is the E episode for the zipper foot. Also, you can go to the IGTV icon on the Janome HQ Instagram page to go back and review that E episode in the A to Z with Janome series on how to install a zipper using that E zipper foot. Now also here is the adjustable buttonhole foot, because here, sliding buttonhole foot, here on the 2212 we have a 4-step buttonhole, which then you will see here everything is clearly marked. Again, full instructions in your manual, but this machine is so easy to use, like I think all Janome machines, but especially with a machine like this, the mechanical machines, very user-friendly, very beginner-friendly. Again, here's our stitches here for a 4-step buttonhole, and here they are here on our dial. So the machine, even without looking in the manual, will tell you basically what to do. So yes, let's get into some stitching, because as usual, the time will fly. So, and of course, also included in your machine, very important, is this beautiful foot pedal, again, comes with a lot of our Janome machines where it's an integrated foot pedal and power cord in the same cord. This is the same foot pedal that our sergers and our cover hem machines use. So I often say you only need one foot pedal then. If you have a serger or a cover hem machine, you can use the same foot pedal. So you don't have to have, 3 and 4 under your table. Just use one and you're only using one machine at once. So that helps reduce the cord clutter. But as usual, I have it, here on the non-slip foot pedal pad, the Janome So Comfortable non-slip foot pedal pad. And look at that. It's like totally at an angle and it's not moving anywhere. This is why I love this non-slip foot pedal pad. Regardless of what your flooring is, it's this grippy surface on both sides, so it'll keep your foot pedal, regardless of what foot pedal it is, it'll keep it in place. Oh, Shayna's here. Hello, hello. Oh, and Kimberly Imo, hello. Happy New Year, and it's great to see you both. Thank you. Yes, Kimberly. Oh, those non-slip foot pedal pads. Oh, I would ideally like them for all of the sewing stations at the Janome Sewing and Learning Center. I have a couple of these, but I would like more. One at every station because they are so useful. Again, regardless of what your flooring is, it really is handy. So you can get one of those from your fabulous Janome dealer. So yes, when we talk about the machine, again, super easy to adjust. Right now it's on A, which over here on our stitch chart says that it is the straight stitch. And then this is our stitch length dial. I have it at number 2. Now this machine is good for woven fabrics, for knit fabrics even. For example, when we see under here the G stitch, down here, these are our stretch stitches, and even you can use these as decorative stitches too. But specifically stretch stitch, this G stitch, for example, is great to use with knit fabrics. When you want to sew, for example, there is my stitch there. And it's great because I still have that built-in stretch for the knit fabric. Because it's a knit, it's not going to ravel, but it just makes it very secure. And again, there's my seam, beautiful. Nothing's going to pop, nothing's going to break. We've got, again, that built-in stretch. So even on a, again, basic entry-level machine like this, oh yes, we can sew knit fabrics. Ooh, All About Crafts. Hello, hello. And Happy New Year. So yes, in order to quickly make this adjustment, again, I could go all day saying hi to everybody and sewing. But yes, in order to use this, we will consult our manual, and it says, yes, we're going to use our zigzag foot. And then in order to get to this G stitch down here, the stretch stitch, we're going to turn our stitch length dial. So it's stretch stitch, that's what that SS stands for. And then on this selector dial, we're going to turn it to G. And then that's going to select then that stitch there. Now, we've got markings on our needle plate, just as we do, I think, on all Janome machines. So that'll definitely help us line up our seam allowance. In this case, I'm going to sew, let's say, like a knit top, and I'm going to sew at 5/8 of an inch. Now there is a mark on our needle plate, but something I absolutely love that comes in this cute quilting attachment kit is this metal cloth guide here. Now this quilting attachment kit comes with a number of our QDC machines that I've demoed in previous Magical Machine Mystery Tours, but this quilting attachment kit is also available separately as this from your Janome dealer. And it's got a variety of presser feet, all come in this little bag, like there's your even feed foot, it comes with the quilting guide bar, it comes with an open toe darning foot, so you could do that free motion quilting. But again, it also comes with this metal cloth guide, which I absolutely love. It again is so simple and so basic, but sometimes that's all it takes to get the job done. So here is my metal cloth guide, and then you may wonder, why are there these two screws, one of which is longer than the other? So if I had the little screw hole in my needle plate, that's when I would use this little small screw. But the bigger, longer screw is for when you have a hole here in the bed of your machine, in like the plastic housing of your machine. So then you're going to use this longer screw to get in there and attach this adjustable cloth guide. So when I'm going to sew this knit fabric, this seam, I'm going to put my cloth guide over to the 5/8 inch mark on the needle plate there, and then tighten that screw. So then this way I know that's going to be a perfectly even seam. Nothing is going to get out of place. It's going to be nice and even. Now, as I often say, it's a little tricky for me to sew because I'm sewing off to the side. But yes, now we do have the side. Speaking of side, we do have the side thread cutter that's over here, which is also a thread holder to hang up your threads there. When you begin a seam, you can either hang them up on that side thread holder here, or again, many of us, I was taught 30-something years ago sewing, and I often just hold on to the ends of my threads, and that's what gets me to. Now, it would help if you turned your machine on. Then you have some power there. So yes, if you hold on to your threads, or again, you hang them up in the side there. So then here I'm going to quickly do this seam, and again, I'm just butting up my fabric against that metal cloth guide. It's securely attached to the needle plate, so nothing is moving, so it's super fast, super accurate. And again, great if you're a beginner sewer, but again, everybody wants to improve accuracy, and especially I generally sew fast, so that's why I love having these guides. So there is our seam. So again, nice and sturdy, and then mainly it's got that built-in stretch. Now, as they say in the instruction manual, there's my 5/8 of an inch seam, but I don't need this big seam allowance in my garment, so I go in with my fabulous mini duckling scissors, and this way I can trim that seam allowance about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. And again, it's a knit fabric, so it's not going to ravel. So how perfect is that? And this way, by starting with a bigger seam allowance, and again, for most garments, it's a 5/8 inch, then we can trim it out later. By this way, though, by having that bigger seam allowance, you're not going to be sewing right at the edge. And if you've ever had, oh, my machine is eating my fabric, well, if you start with a deeper seam, that again is built into most garment patterns anyway, start with that deeper seam, then you can trim your seam allowance down later. So that works really, really well. So yes, let me remove this. And again, that adjustable cloth guide, is so easy to use. And again, available in that quilting attachment kit that is available from your Janome dealer. So it's a great value and lots of extra feet to use with your machine. So that is good. Now, I mentioned about this adjustable blind hem foot. So I have demoed the blind hem many times, many times on Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour, and in the A to Z with Janome series. We have the G blind hem foot for the 9mm machines and some 7mm machines that is a slightly different profile than this. It has a big black rudder down the middle. So that's the G foot that I've demoed the most, but I also have demoed this adjustable blind hem foot. And the cool thing about, again, the blind hem, it does this beautiful, this is actually how you stitch, does a beautiful blind hem. So then from the right side of your garment, you may just see those needle threads barely. And when you do your blind hem, again, you're sewing it like this. So there's a fold of the fabric, and that is what lines up, again, with that adjustable guide here on your adjustable blind hem foot. But another purpose for this foot, which I think is so cool. So yes, you could do your blind hem, which again would be stitches E and F here are some blind hem options. One just has the regular straight stitch, which is that. So again, it does that straight stitch, so then your fabric is not going to ravel. So you could finish the edge of that fabric if you wanted to, but again, because of that straight stitch there, it's not going to cause any raveling. The other option, E, has got a little zigzag stitch in between, which is that. So then again, from the outside, or from the sort of right side as you turn it over, you'll see the little zigzag in between. So that just means, especially if you've got some extra fabric that's extra ravelly, by having that little zigzag there will improve to help make sure that the fabric doesn't ravel. But yes, another reason I wanted to show, though, this adjustable blind hem foot is we can use it because of that adjustable guide. How about using it as a 1/4 inch seam foot? So I'm going to turn our dials back to A, which is our regular straight stitch as indicated over here. Now this is on stretch stitch and I don't want that. I just want a regular stitch length. So this is where, if we're doing piecing, I generally like to do about a 2.0 or even about a 1.8, a nice tight stitch, because I'm not going to back stitch or lock stitch at the end and beginning and end of my seam. So I like a nice tighter stitch there. But again, you can adjust this if you want a longer basting stitch. It would be about a 4. Or again, the average seam length is about 2.4, 2.5. So that dial would be kind of right in the middle between 2 and 3. So I'll just do it at 2. So then there is my straight stitch. Now here on my needle plate, again, we do have some markings to make it a little easier. Now, in order to line up your needle, or in order to line up this guide, this adjustable guide, to where you would like it to be, it's actually easier. Just snap off whatever foot you have, and then lower your needle into the needle plate there. And then take your little ruler, your little seam gauge, and then measure over where you would like it to be as well. Now, again, we do have some markings on the needle plate to help you. I can see my 1/4 inch is basically, it's usually right up here against the outside edge of this big long feed dog. For most machines is generally where the 1/4 of an inch is. So I'm going to take my big long, or I'm going to take my guide there and move it along to that big long feed dog. So then when I come in here with my little fabric sample to do the straight stitch, then again I've got it lined up perfectly. So this is acting as my cloth guide as well. So I know I'm going to get that accurate seam. So we could even do, again, 1/4 inch piecing just by using that adjustable blind hem foot. So again, versatility. Just because it's again, a more basic machine doesn't mean it doesn't have a lot of applications. So there's our beautiful 1/4 of an inch seam. Again, you measure with your little gauge there, 1/4 of an inch, perfect. If you would like it to be that slight scant 1/4 that we all want, you simply just move this guide to the left so it's closer to your needle. So you would, if I go the right way, so then you adjust this so this guide is going closer to your needle. So that'll produce a more scant seam allowance. So again, how perfect is that? So you can even do piecing for all your quilting on your 2212 as well. Now, the last thing, time-wise, yes, very quickly, again, the time goes by, with our fabulous sliding adjustable buttonhole foot here. And again, full instructions in the manual. But, you know, very often with a lot of our higher-end Janome machines, certainly our mid-level and higher-end machines, then we'll boast and saying, oh, well, they have a one-step buttonhole. So that's always a great feature, very time-saving feature. But, you know, this 4-step buttonhole really doesn't take a whole lot of time either. So when we adjust for a buttonhole, again, very simple. We see on our stitch length dial, there's the little buttonhole icon there. The closer we are to 0 in the length means the stitch is going to be tighter, more like a satin stitch, a really tight satin stitch. If we have the length a little more to the 1, that's going to be a more open zigzag. So again, that would be a great buttonhole to do for knit fabric, so it won't be as dense and can still accommodate for some of that stretch. Now, then we're going to turn our selector dial again, and it tells you number 1, number 2, number 3, and back to number 4. So simple, so easy. When we do our buttonholes, we want to make sure for sure we're going to use some sort of interfacing or stabilizer behind our fabric. And of course, where that comes from is the, Madeira Stabilizer Starter Pack that I always love to talk about. 12 different stabilizers so you can sample and find your favorite ones for whatever application you're doing. There is this great booklet that comes with it, so it will tell you which stabilizers to use for what application. And we've got many, many blogs on the Janome Life blog that have talked about the Madeira Stabilizer. So you can always go back to Janome Life as well for more information. Oh, Cindy, hello and Happy New Year. It is great to see you. So there, as we quickly, again, time is my enemy. We're going to do our buttonhole. Now, the cool thing is with this adjustable foot, there's a little red marking off to the side, so it will size your buttonhole. It'll help you guide it exactly the length that you would like. So here I've come to the end, and we want to make sure the needle is up out of the fabric before we turn this selector dial. So once I've come to the end here, I'm going to turn to number 2. And again, make sure the needle is up out of the fabric before you do that. Do a couple of stitches across to do like that little bar tack. Make sure, again, you raise your needle. Then adjust to number 3. It takes me longer to explain this than it would be if I just actually did it and didn't explain anything. Like, it's so simple. So yes, a one-step buttonhole really is very fast and convenient because the machine just does it all for you. But again, to do this 4-step buttonhole, you just get into like the mode of doing so, and it really is very simple and easy. Again, you do a couple of tacking stitches at the end, and then boom, again, convenient side thread cutter up over here. And then there, look at our beautiful buttonhole. We trim off our thread with our mini applique scissors here, mini duckbill scissors, or, you know, you can also try to pull your threads here to the backside and knot them, or even you could thread up a needle and pull them to the backside and knot them as well. So there's a couple of different options. I generally just trim mine off since I know they're secure. And then again, I love these mini duckbill scissors for so many applications, but here to just fold the buttonhole and just make a small snip, and then there, we'll just go in and trim the buttonhole. So again, how simple, how easy is that? Boom, done. And then I could go on and make a million of these, you know. So again, it is so simple and easy to do. So that is your sliding buttonhole foot with your fabulous 2212. Again, you've got so much versatility with it. And I wanted to mention, of course, as always, I've been using the fabulous Madeira. In this case, I'm using the poly neon thread. And how beautiful that is with some of our decorative stitches. But we also have, Sandra Mugman, hello. And Terry Bailey's here, hello, hello. But we also have these fabulous Aerofill thread pack here. That's a good 50 weight, like all-purpose sewing thread. You'll see I love that red the most. But then, yes, we've also have, the Katana Madeira thread packs with all that beautiful multicolor thread. So there's so many options. Again, check with your Janome dealer that you can use with whatever fabulous Janome magical machine that you have. Here is some neutral katana thread. So again, whatever your style, whatever your project, there's definitely a thread to go with it. I wanted to mention there is no needle threader on the 2212, but Janome has these convenient needle threaders in a blister pack at your Janome dealer. On one side, it's actually a needle holder here, so that'll help you when you're inserting the needle or removing the needle. But on the other side here, there's a little wire that, can you see that little wire that comes out, and that'll help push the thread through the eye of the needle. So this is really great to help you thread that needle, again, manually, faster and easier. So these are available from your Janome dealer as well. So now, before I wrap up, I mentioned that, yes, next week is going to be the debut of our new series called Ask Janome HQ. So I already have a list of questions that I'm going to start tackling that, again, have come through on our Janome social media and that have written me emails as well. So if you would like to answer a question. I'm going to try to answer questions live as well, but, you know, depending. If it's on a machine specifically, maybe I don't have that machine within arm's reach, so I may not be able to answer that question at the time. But you can always write classes@janome-canada.com. And then if you have a question that you would like me to read out at Janome HQ, you can send me the question there. And then again, I will prepare ahead of time and make sure I have all the parts and pieces I need in order to answer the question. If it's something quick and simple, then sure, I'll answer it live on air. But if it comes to doing an actual demo, then I need to make sure I have the machine and the proper presser foot and all of that kind of stuff. So then you can send me an email that way. Candy says she uses that threader for my serger all the time. It works great. Excellent feedback, Candy. I love it. So yes, it really does work well. And again, it's only a couple of bucks, so it's well worth having in your sewing tool drawer. So there we go. So yes, thank you everyone so much for our first Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour of 2022, featuring the fabulous 2212 machine. I must say, isn't that a great tie-in? But that was completely coincidental. But yes, I've had that machine at home with me for a while, and it's just, again, I fall in love with all Janome machines, but I thought, wow, this is such a cool, again, versatile, but very simple, very basic machine. So great for a beginner, or again, those that you just want to do a couple of repairs. Well, great. Nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated, very lightweight, very portable. So, you know, when we maybe start traveling in the summer, or, you know, we're going off to the cottage or something like that, it's a great machine to take along with you. So yes, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. It's my pleasure. And yes, thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. Oh, bye-bye. All About Crafts. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you all next week for our first edition of Ask Janome HQ on the Janome HQ Instagram Live. Until then, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.